Hey, he did everything right. And then one mistake is all it took for half of white America to cancel this man.
Since Will Smith released his new movie, Bad Boys 4, it was almost like all of his haters were waiting in one corner for this to happen and for the box office to announce how much this movie has made, how much revenue it has generated. It was almost like they were waiting for this moment to come out and say the most demeaning things about this man. A few days ago, we were talking about what Stephen A. Smith said, claiming that the black community deserves an apology from Will Smith for what he did to Chris Rock at the Oscars. Like, he hasn't gotten past that moment, the slap, because since then he has not been able to bring himself to watch Will Smith movie. Now we have another comedian. I saw some people saying in the comment section that he's a D-list comedian. Rob Schneider was on an interview or a podcast getting some things off of his chest as well about Will Smith. He clearly and boldly said that Will Smith is not a nice guy, and that Oscar moment literally revealed who he truly is. And a lot of people are reacting to it. On that interview as well, he said he was supposed to be one of the people who are supposed to hold him accountable for the things that he did. And this is getting a lot of people pissed that at this moment he's just giving it. And his movie is not for you guys. You guys are not his target audience. You need to put this to rest. I have put together his clips and as well what people are saying about what he said. So without wasting much time, let's just get right into it.
Deuce Bigalow has declared war on Will Smith.
Will Smith is a twat.
Oh, I liked him.
Will Smith has been hiding the fact of who he really is, and it was exposed that night. He's really an asshole.
While Rob Schneider was a guest on the Kyle and Jackie O show, he let them really know how he felt about Will Smith and his infamous Oscars slap.
Wait, just back up a second. Hang on.
I want to know
Will
what the punishment
Smith is like, for me, when I met him, right, I always say...
Like the nicest,
yes,
most wonderful, he's a liar. Complete, utter fraud.
Really?
It was exposed in that time.
Big Stan then goes on to explain that Will Smith should have been arrested, but since the Academy was doing its best to be politically correct, they didn't react properly.
Will is a douchebag, and that's something that you can't. The thing is, that's how politically correct the Academy is.
Right.
That they were so cowardly. Because if I would have done that, they would have been hauled out to prison. But because they were so worried about being, racist or whatever, they were like, we can't be. The point is, violence is what it is, and what the color of your skin or your religion doesn't matter.
Sure.
If you commit a crime in front of other people, you get hauled out of there.
Yeah, but didn't you also sort of think, he's standing up for his missus? You didn't like that?
It doesn't matter. You can't hit another dude.
There's a particular group of people in Hollywood who are visibly upset and still trying to cancel Will Smith, and they are being very verbal and outspoken about the success of Bad Boys 4.
Will Smith is a twat.
Oh, I liked him.
Will Smith has been hiding the fact of who he really is, and it was exposed that night. He's really an asshole. But I wasn't allowed to say anything at that time because we were part of the committee that was supposed to punish him.
Always
like
say,
the nicest, most wonderful. He's a liar. Complete, utter. The thing is, that's how politically correct the Academy is.
Right.
That they were so cowardly. Because if I would have done that, they would have been hauled out to prison. Because they were so worried about being, racist.
Yeah, you were right. Bad Boys flopped.
Did I say it was going to flop?
Yeah. You were incredibly wrong.
Well, no, not incredibly.
Let's go.
This 100 million is indicative of the fact that overall numbers are much less. In the same way that when someone drops an album and it does 50,000 streams, they're the #1 album. Back in the day, it had to do 1 million.
Hollywood and America love a redemption story, but they like the downfall of a black man even worse. And the fact that the black community is taking the black dollar and spending it overwhelmingly to this movie, I think 44% of the people who saw the movie in America were black. It's just not sitting well with Hollywood. Hollywood has tried to make this guy, they're shoving this guy Glenn Powell down our throat and any other mediocre white actor down our throat. And now no other movie has actually had success in the way that Bad Boys had. The fact that smack happened 2 years ago, it went in one ear and out the other for me. It's it exited my consciousness so fast. And I said this before, we live in a world now where people forget that people are real. Humans have emotions. People aren't perfect. People can make mistakes, and those mistakes should be forgiven. Because one mistake does not define your entire life. Anyway, Bad Boys 4 is an amazing film. Action, comedy, romance, Will Smith, excellent fight scenes, a little bit of green screen sci-fi. Chef's kiss. Go see it.
I'm gonna weigh in on this Will Smith situation to simply say this. Black people, most of us, were never mad at Will Smith. We were never mad at Will Smith. We were sad for Will Smith, okay? We were sad for him because this man for almost 30 years did everything right. Everything right. He made all the right moves. He was hyper palatable. He shook every hand, kissed every baby, didn't even put curse words in his raps, okay? He did everything right. And then one mistake is all it took for half of white America to cancel this man. One mistake. Like, he got no leeway. He apologized. He was crying on Instagram and everything else. He got no leeway, okay? And so I think it was very clear to all of us in the Black community, we all we got, okay? Because it only takes one mistake. So when Bad Boys 4 came out, of course we showed up. We all we got. We know y'all are not going to have this man's back. It's got to be us. I really think that's what it came down to. I'm not saying that the slap wasn't wrong. Obviously, nobody should hit anybody, okay? No one should be assaulting anybody. But also, it was an open hand slap, okay? And there were white people on the internet saying that he could have killed Chris Rock. Have y'all never been slapped? What? So anyway, I don't know. I feel like a lot of Black people in that moment, we realized, oh, we all we got. And that is why it's #1 at the box office. That is why Will Smith will be fine, because we will be there for him. That's it. That's all.
I always find it really intriguing when celebrities talk about other celebrities, like their experiences with them. Because it's one thing for a fan to say something, and then there's something else for like a peer type thing, right? So Rob Schneider had a lot to say about Will Smith. So recently he's came out and talked about Will Smith because he said at the time he couldn't talk about it. And he talked about how the keep my wife's name out your you know what mouth, Will Smith, was not Will Smith under duress. That's how Will Smith usually is. He said that Will Smith is not a nice person whatsoever. And even when other people were saying that they had really nice encounters with him, he was saying that he was a fraud and that's not how it is. And he was sticking up for his friend Chris Rock. And it makes me wonder, like, is Will Smith really like that, or was he sticking up for his friend? Obviously, Chris Rock has worked with Rob Schneider in the past, you know, like they've been in Adam Sandler movies and they're both comedians, you know. He was talking about how he just thought that, you know, Will Smith was wrong for the slap and that the joke just wasn't that serious. And, you know, it's been like years now. We've all talked about it, whether we think it's, you know, him doing it under duress because of Jada's influence or what have you. But Rob is like, yeah, no, that Will that you saw, that's the Will that is the real Will, and the Will that we see usually is just a persona or a fraud. I mean, so much has came out recently with celebrities that we thought were amazing people, and then they're really not great. So we don't know, right? Like as fans, as watchers. But it's also like Rob could be a little bit biased because that happened to his friend. So like if somebody smacked my best friend, I'm automatically not gonna like that person either. But yeah, I wanna know what you guys think. I'll do some more videos of celebrities' encounters with each other because like I said, it's interesting. Like they have the inside scoop. I can only do so much research or look up so many things or have so many encounters as a fan or, you know, a TikTok personality, whatever. These are actually people who know these people behind closed doors. So who knows?
Cultural awareness and competence is so important when providing commentary on the success of Bad Boys Ride or Die, because all of these think pieces on mainstream news outlets about the success of this film, not comprehending why it's found box office success, is ultimately because the people providing commentary on the movie, as well as the people that signed up to cancel Will Smith, were never the targeted audience for this film, and they were never going to see it to begin with. The people who saw Bad Boys Ride or Die saw the first 3 movies. More importantly, that same demographic never canceled Will Smith. We've been screaming, protect Black women, defend Black women by any means necessary, and we saw a man do that. The targeted demographic for Bad Boys never canceled Will Smith, and the demographic that canceled him only paid attention to him because he won an Oscar. And when it comes to that slave movie that didn't do well, it's because the demographic that supports him keeps telling y'all we don't want any more slave movies. It's very simple.
Rob Schneider, a.k.a. Deuce Bigelow, Mel Gigolo, found the courage inside himself for practicing in front of the mirror to come out and speak against our brother Will Smith. He called him a coward, a phony, and a fraud. Insane. And this is not more than white supremacy. He ain't not more than a white supremacist to me, Rob Schneider, because he waited for the tether Stephen A. Smith to come out and speak his part. See, a lot of times they'll get somebody that look like us, that's not from our lineage, a tether, to come out and speak against, or even to speak out against black people, or even they could be from our lineage, but they got to get somebody that look like us to break the ice so it could become a free for all. Because white supremacy is a cowardist system. So this guy Rob Schneider basically was going in on saying Will Smith was a coward, a phony, and a fraud. That if it would have been him, or someone white, they would have been hauled off at the Academy Awards or whatever that award show was for slapping somebody. That was assault, and that the Academy Award, the award show was afraid to do that because that would involve race and religion. They were afraid to haul Will Smith off and just let Will Smith get a pass. God forbid any black person gets a pass. Sound a damn alarm for white supremacy. They hate that inside of their heart. They hate for when they feel a black man got away with something. Will Smith was protecting his wife, and sometimes people get out of line, and truth be told, they need to be chastised. And this is what's wrong with the world today. People feel they can jump out there and say anything without no repercussions. And sometimes when you say things, there will be repercussions. This is the way life works. And this Rob Schneider ain't nothing more than a hater and a white supremacist to me, because he used this opportunity to go in on our brother. Probably was something he ain't like Will Smith, that was just in him. And this was the perfect opportunity because white supremacy is a cowardist system. He used this as the leg way to get into a conversation about Will Smith. He ain't like Will Smith no way. And calling him a coward and this, that, and the third. I bet he won't say that to Will Smith's face. Will Smith did what he felt he needed to do. That man was assaulting his wife, and he stood up for his wife. And this man, Rob Schneider, acts like it's a crime for a black person to get away with something when people and folks out of his community get away with mass murders, sexual assaults, and things left and right. And this is the problem with society as we see it. When a black person gets a drug felony or something like that, something that is a nonviolent crime, they want to attach that jacket to him for the rest of his life. And he gets denied work, employment, and gets denied from enjoying the necessities he needs to live. And with white people, they go out here and commit mass crimes, murders, assaults, and sexual assaults, and they're hired and stuff. They don't hold that against them for the rest of their life. And this is the same thing they trying to do with our brother Will Smith. They trying to hold that slap against him for the rest of his life, and that ain't fair. So I got to speak out, speak truth to power on that. So leave our brother Will Smith alone. But I wouldn't be surprised, knowing the cowardice system that white supremacy is, that they won't send more of their minions out here to jump out and speak out against our good brother Will Smith. But just my thoughts on the matter. Peace.
Why do palm-colored people feel the need to speak on black people's issue? We don't give a fuck about how you felt that night. We don't care. Like, Will Smith just came out with Bad Boys 3, and it made over $100 million in the box office. Do you really think that he gives a fuck about your opinion and what you think about his Oscar slap? No. This is the problem with the media. You always want to paint people like the bad guy. At the end of the day, Will Smith did what he did because he was standing up for his wife. And it is what it is. Chris Rock got slapped, and Will Smith got some consequences behind that, and then he moved on with his life. Let's all move on now. You thought that calling Will Smith an a-hole and tarnishing his character was going to do something for you. And it didn't at all. It just made you look bitter and stupid. So yeah, leave Will Smith alone and keep his name out of your mouth. It's just annoying to me at this point.
Isn't it funny how these people are really working hard to cancel this man? They are really pissed at the fact that his movie is doing well. They are pissed at the turn up that this movie received, especially from black people. Because someone mentioned in the state that 44% of people who went to see that movie are black people. They are so surprised at the fact that people are turning up. And this is one of the things that Stephen A. Smith as well was referring to. They could not just wrap their head around the fact that this is happening, even though the Oscar slap happened as well. They wanted that to be the entire end of this man's career so bad. Like one of them mentioned, they are humans and people need to understand the fact that they have emotions as well. If you can stand on a stage filled with so many people and insult someone's wife and not expecting any repercussion, then you are probably the dumb or delusional one here. What this man did was to stand up for his wife. Lady in the street said, we are screaming that black men should stand up for black women. They should protect black women. But when they do, they are trying so bad to cancel this man. Eating or putting your hand on someone is not a nice thing to do. We are human and we tend to act out of character sometimes. I don't think that should be the entire end of his life because he stood up for somebody who was literally dragging, insulting, and disrespecting his wife who had been going through and dealing with alopecia. So Rob was saying that they did not react the way or the best way to it because it will have been termed racism or religion. This person said, Rob is Chris' friend. They were on SNL together. Of course, he will say that. So many people said this. This person said, politically correct. Oh, please. The difference is Rob is a D-list actor and Will Smith isn't. That is why he got away with it, asshole or not. Another person said they are worried about the slap, but not when the Academy was still giving Roman Polanski's award. Another one said Will Smith has proven that Hollywood has lost their control over the masses. They have many excuses why things flop, and they were hoping this flop will on blame. Like they were hoping this will not do as well as it's doing. In fact, they were hoping for it to flop in total so that they can say, yes, this is the perfect response for the slap that you gave Chris Rock, who was disrespecting and insulting your wife at the Oscar and has been doing that over and over again. Let me hear what you guys think about these people who are suddenly coming out to spew how much they hate and how bad Will Smith is now that there is news about his new movie and the fact that the movie is doing absolutely well and black people are turning up for this black man. Let's continue this conversation in the comment section and I will catch you guys in the next one.